If you are a 7-figure founder or on track to become one, you've probably felt this. Your customer acquisition costs are climbing, your return ad spend is shrinking, and you've probably wondered, are Meta and Google ads even still worth it? The truth is, most brands are still running their ads like it's 2021. They're stacking narrow interests, only relying on the pixel, and maybe uploading 5 new creatives a month, praying that something sticks. That old playbook is broken. That's why so many founders are stuck between 50K to 100K per month and can't break through that ceiling. But there's a new way. This is the system that took my client AlgoRx from 70K per month to over 260K per month in only 6 months at a 7 to 10x blended return ad spend. And it's the same system that helped another client, Nuketails, scale from 30K per month to 500K per month in only 70 days. And it's the same system that scaled my client BALOLO from 158K to 1.5 million at a 5.4x return on ad spend. If you don't know me, I'm Andrej Tomachovic, founder of HoloGrowth. We have a system designed specifically for brand scaling to 7 and 8 figures in 2026, especially for those wanting to hit that 1 million per month mark. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how this new way of running meta ads will not only reduce your customer acquisition cost, but also boost your return ad spend, your profitability, and allow you to scale your ads to completely new heights. And I'll prove it to you in the 3 key tactics. Let's get brutally honest why most brands are not able to scale. It's usually not an issue of the product or that the market is too competitive. It's usually that those brands are stuck in the old way of running their ads. You've got dozens of interest stacks, completely random lookalike audiences, and the campaigns are crazy segmented, which might look sophisticated, but it just confuses the algorithm and the advertiser and the founders of the brand, and no one really knows what's going on in the ad account. You're only using the pixel as tracking, and you only have that one data source based on which you make all the decisions, and you're not cross-checking it with Google Analytics, internal dashboards, or a third-party tracking tool, which leads to you making decisions based on numbers that don't even reflect the reality. You're chasing completely vanity metrics like in-platform return on ad spend. On paper, it might look like you're profitable or that you make money, but at the end of the month, you figure out that you actually are losing money and the ads are not profitable. I've seen so many brands make those mistakes that they think in-platform return ad spend is everything that matters, when in reality it doesn't correlate to the real business metrics. Then you're only uploading a couple of random creatives every single month and just hoping that something works, without having a real creative strategy, knowing what works, knowing what doesn't, and a creative system, a creative engine that is able to help you pump out a lot of new creatives that convert on a consistent basis and really have a scientific testing approach to know how to scale. And lastly, you're blind scaling. You're basically just throwing more budget at the campaigns, hoping that it works, hoping that you get a good return ad spend, and you might see a short spike in sales, a short spike in performance, but after that it just crashes down. And you don't have any clear guardrails in terms of what your customer acquisition cost has to be like, what your break-even return ad spend has to be like, and you're not able to scale predictably. Does this sound familiar? And here's the thing. A great product isn't enough. Your customers might love the products. You have a strong NPS score, 4.9 ratings, and you're still not profitable. You're still not able to grow the brand. You need to have a system that allows you to get that product into more people's hands. Your return ad spend is decreasing. This old playbook is the reason why most brands' return ad spend has been declining and the customer acquisition costs have been increasing. It's why many founders feel like they're hustling harder and harder, but the revenue just stays flat. And if you've ever thought, maybe the problem is just me, maybe my brand or my product is not good enough, let me just stop you there. The problem isn't your brand or your product. It's the system you're using. Now, if you're serious about getting to 1 million per month with your ecom brand, here's how I can help. We'll build you a completely free 90-day scaling roadmap. A tailored plan that will show you exactly how you can scale and get your brand to 1 million per month in revenue. It's a complete deep dive where we go into your business, analyze every single aspect of it, find hidden growth opportunities, and lay out a plan that exactly shows you how you can get to the next level. Some brands just take this roadmap and decide to go with it by themselves. others decide to work with us and help us implement it. Either way, you walk away with a clear, profit-first path to growth. Click the link in the description to book a quick call with me and get your free roadmap. Anyways, back to the video. Let's start with pillar 1. You need to measure. If there's one truth I've learned after scaling dozens of e-commerce brands, is that you can't scale what you can't measure. Most e-com founders I speak to have exactly the same frustrations. They don't trust their numbers. They have completely misaligned reports. Shopify shows one thing, Google Analytics another thing. The platform's a completely different story, and they don't even know what to trust. And in the end, they have no clue about the profits, and they're wondering, are those ads even profitable? Am I even acquiring new customers profitably? And here's why this is so bad. This data fog is dangerous. If you can't see clearly, you'll make scaling decisions based on broken data, based on wrong data. And that's how your customer acquisition cost skyrockets and you end up not being profitable. So how do we fix this? We start with measurement that protects profits. So here's why tracking will get you to 1 million per month in revenue. The HoloGrowth tracking framework. So first of all, we don't rely on the pixel alone. We implement server-side conversion API to make sure that every event is cleanly captured and reported. This already massively helps with the accuracy and with us seeing which ads and which conversions are actually getting results and which ones are actually profitable. Then we make sure to cross-check everything with Google Analytics or GA4 because Meta oftentimes massively inflates their numbers and they want the conversion events in their platform to look as good as humanly possible, obviously. So you spend more money with them. So we cross-check everything with GA4 to make sure that we get a reality check. Then for each brand we're working with, we set up the so-called North Star metrics. Those are the most important metrics that we optimize everything for and that we track on a daily basis to make sure we're scaling and growing profitably. Those North Star metrics should usually be blended numbers, so not something where you only rely on the tracking and the in-platform data, but where you take like whole business metrics and numbers that are 100% accurate and 100% true, and then you optimize based on that. For us, it's usually the marketing efficiency ratio, or also MER. Some people also call it blended return on ad spend. It's when you take all the revenue divided by all the ad spend across all marketing platforms. And then you find out what your marketing efficiency ratio is. And with that, we just know how overall profitable is the brand and how efficient is our marketing completely overall without having to rely on in-platform tracking or any inaccurate numbers. Because you will always know 100% accurate how much revenue you had, like how much revenue, how many sales there were on your Shopify site or wherever. And at the same time, you will also know exactly how much you spent on the paid ads. Like Meta or Google will never show you the wrong number in terms of what you have spent. So you can take those two real and accurate numbers and just divide them to really know how profitable you are overall. The second North Star metric should be your blended customer acquisition costs or new customer acquisition cost. That's basically that you take all the new customers that you acquired, all the new customers that you received over last week, for example, and divide it by the total ad spend. And then you know how much you in total spent on paid ads and paid marketing to acquire a new customer. And with that, you can calculate whether the new customer was worth it to the business, whether you're scaling profitable, or whether you're just losing money. Then you definitely need to have the guardrails in. You have to know exactly what your break-even return on ad spend and your break-even customer acquisition cost is. So basically how much you can spend and how aggressive you can scale without ending up losing money, because that will dictate how much you can increase the ad spend and how far you can go without starting to lose money for the business. For that, you also need to know the contribution margin and the first order profitability to basically calculate whether you're acquiring new customers profitably and whether you make money right away with every new customer right away, or whether you lose money on the customer acquisition and then potentially get it back with the customer lifetime value and with those customers coming back. Usually we recommend and we prefer being first order profitable. So with every new customer that we acquire, immediately being profitable for the brand, because obviously, there is the customer lifetime value and a lot of customers come back, but you never really know for sure. There are a lot of brands where the LTV is the real driver of profit, but it's very unpredictable. You can't pay your team based on revenue that will potentially come in the next 6 months. And obviously there are some exceptions to this rules and some brands that really can only scale with their LTV and with the customers coming back. But for most brands, the ideal scenario, the ideal outcome is that you are profitable on the first order, you acquire new customers profitably, and then if they come back, it's great, it's an additional bonus, it's additional profit for the brand, but we don't want to be completely reliant on that because something could always happen, something could go wrong, and for some reason those customers suddenly don't come back. And if like your whole business depends on the customers coming back and the LTV recuperating the advertising costs, it's just way more risky. So if we can avoid that, we should do that. Take AlgoRx, for example. When they came to us, they were basically scaling blindly. They didn't have proper tracking set up and they didn't know how profitable they are and how much they can scale. So we fixed their tracking completely with server-side conversion API and Google Analytics cross-checks. And we realized that there were actually quite a lot of inefficiencies. So we cut the waste, redirected it into the profitable campaigns, and were able to scale them from 70K per month to over 260K per month in the first 6 months of working together, while also hitting an above 7x blended return ad spend, even as high as a 10x blended return ad spend in some of the months. That's the power of measurement that protects profit. So here are the things that you need to fix to hit 1 million per month. If you're scaling with broken data, you're not alone. 95% of the brands that we audit have at least one of these issues, and they're still able to scale to 1 million per month in revenue. Duplicate or missing events, no MER benchmarks, optimizing to vanity return ad spend, or relying on LTV instead of first order profit. And every single one of those problems pushes customer acquisition costs up and return ad spend down. But once you fix it, you can finally scale with confidence because you're not just throwing money in the dark. You're scaling on real, reliable numbers. The second pillar of the new way is the account structure. Most brands that come to us have a completely messed up account and campaign structure. 10, maybe 15 different campaigns, sometimes hundreds of different ad sets and overlapping audiences, interests, random lookalike audiences, and no one really knows what's going on. No one really knows how to improve the ad performance, improve the account performance, and scale the account. Founders then tell me that they wanted to give meta options or they wanted to manually control every single aspect of the ad account to get the best possible return on ad spend and get the best possible results. But in reality, all they have done is just completely confuse the algorithm, the advertiser, and completely stall their growth. And this chaos leads to the exact problems that you're probably facing right now. The customer acquisition costs creeping higher and higher every single month. The return ad spend might be looking strong in platform, but really weak in reality. And you're scaling budgets just to see the performance completely collapse a few days later. It is a big problem. But even when you add new campaigns, you're not actually growing. You're just cannibalizing your own campaigns. So what's the fix? We simplify. Also, if you're an e-com founder below 1 million per month, I have something that will help you get there. Below, I created a full meta ads guide that shows you exactly how to scale your e-com brand to 1 million per month. It is completely free and breaks down the exact tactics that I've used to scale over 50 e-commerce brands. Link is in the description below. Anyways, back to the video. Here's why account structure will get you to 1 million per month. The HoloGrowth account structure. We use a two-lane system that brings clarity, stability, and scale. One test campaign with CBO, usually completely broad targeting, where we test 3 to 5 new creative concepts every single week. We have strict spend rules and cut losers quickly and promote winners into the scaling campaign. A lot of brands still use ABO, and in some instances it might still work, it might still make sense, but if you want to have the best possible performance and get the best possible results, even your testing campaign should be on a CBO, on a campaign budget optimization, because that gives Meta some flexibility to really deliver and show the ads that people are most likely to be interested in and that people are most likely to buy from. So with that, you get the best possible performance. If you have the problem that Meta is not spending on new creative concepts and you want to make sure that Meta spends and force some spend on new creative concepts, you can still add a minimum budget for the ad set. So even while using CBO, you can still tell Meta that there is a minimum budget that they should spend on that ad set, on that creative concept. And with that, you give the creative still enough budget to test while still giving Meta the flexibility to put the majority of the budget into the winners and into the creatives that are working the best. And the second campaign is the scaling campaign. That one can be a CBO campaign or an Advantage Plus campaign based on which version of the Meta Ads dashboard you have and the latest update of Meta. But with this campaign, you only have 1 or 2 ad sets inside the campaign, usually only one. And there you put all the winning creatives in there. We usually recommend having 15 to 20 different creatives. Ideally, they should be as diversified as possible, so have completely different creative concepts and some static ads, some image ads, some video ads, some UGC, some product showcases, and also some carousel catalog ads. So basically a mix of everything that you can show to give Meta as much room as possible to target different people in different stages of their buying journey and show them the ad that is most relevant for them and that is most likely to get them to buy something. Back in the days, it used to make sense to have different campaigns for top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. So people who have never heard of the brand, who maybe saw the brand before, visited the website, but have not bought before, and then people who are like on the verge of making the purchase. But nowadays, Meta does all of that automatically. You don't have to worry about it at all. You just give Meta all the different creatives, all the different winners that work, and Meta will automatically decide which ads to show to which people and how to get you the best possible results. And this system completely solves the growth plateau problem. So our repeatable cycle is basically just test creatives, find the winners, scale the winners. Problem solved. You're no longer throwing spaghetti at the wall. You're building a pipeline of creatives that fuel sustainable growth. So why does this matter? If you're stuck between 50K to 500K per month, you don't have a product problem, you have a systems problem. The old way of campaign chaos keeps you plateaued. The new way is a simple and repeatable account structure that positions you in the best possible position to scale to 7 and 8 figures. Now, obviously, there are some brands that need a more sophisticated account structure if they have completely different product categories, target completely different custom avatars, sell to different markets at different price points, and all of those things that just need more different campaigns and need a more sophisticated structure. But for the majority of the brands that we work with and that we talk to on a daily basis, this simple structure is enough to scale them to 1 million per month. With this structure, your ecom brand will be changed completely. And once you lock that in, you'll never wonder again, should I launch another ad set? Should I test another interest stack, another audience split? You'll know exactly what to do. Test, scale, repeat. Pillar 3. Here's the truth. Creative is the campaign. You can have the perfect tracking setup, a clean account structure, but if your creative is not built for cold traffic, you'll never be able to scale profitably. Most brands make the same 2 problems over and over again. First of all, they don't upload enough new creatives and they don't test enough new creatives. They maybe upload a couple of new creatives every couple of weeks, some only like 1 or 2 creatives a month, some maybe 5 to 10 creatives per month, but definitely not enough volume. And second of all, they create content that is not converting. They rely on lifestyle photos or beautiful branded content that might look pretty, but is not getting results. And especially don't convert strangers. And strangers are exactly who you need to win. Because if you can't turn cold audiences into profitable customers on day 1, your customer acquisition costs will rise, your return ad spend will shrink, and your growth will stall, and you'll not be able to scale your brand. So here's why you need a creative engine to get to 1 million per month. The HoloGrowth creative engine. So how do we fix this? We treat creatives as a machine, not as a one-off project. We have different frameworks that we use to sell to strangers, and every single ad that we launch follows one of these frameworks. As an example, problem, mechanism, proof, offer. We start with calling out the problem, the pain point that a potential customer might have. Then we show them the unique mechanism, how our product solves this problem and helps them get them closer to the dream state. Then we show them social proof and show them customer testimonials, customer reviews, how this product solved this problem with other people, ideally similar to them. And then we close with a strong, irresistible offer. And this framework is then paired up with formats that hook attention. So UGC demos that show the product in action, before and after comparisons, ASMR videos, 5 objections in 30 seconds breakdowns, expert teardowns, social proof montages. And then we built out a production cadence where every single week we ship out 5 new concepts with multiple iterations. We test in the test lane, promote winners into the scaling campaign, and keep iterating endlessly. If there's an ad that is not able to hook the attention and capture the attention of the right people right away, we kill it immediately. And in 2026, it's proof over story. Don't get me wrong, we love stories and storytelling is great at getting people to convert, but in 2026, it's not enough. Buyers want proof. We use quantified results, screenshots of customers, UGC, photos, client testimonials, everything that we can to show that our product works. And this engine ensures that you never run dry on creatives and always have content that turns completely cold traffic into profitable customers on day one, which is the single fastest way to reduce your customer acquisition costs and increase your return on ad spend. Now take Nooktails, for example, a home decor brand we partnered up with. They were at 30K per month in revenue and weren't able to scale through that plateau. No matter what they tried, they weren't able to grow. We came onto the team and rebuilt their entire creative strategy around our frameworks. The solution, we were able to scale from 30K per month to 500K per month in revenue in the first 70 days of working together. That's the difference that a cold-friendly creative engine makes. If you follow everything that I shared today, your customer acquisition cost will drop, your return on ad spend will rise, and you'll be one step closer to building the 1 million per month e-com brand. But if your campaigns are structured like chaos, you have overlapping audiences, fragmented ad sets, then you'll never unlock the full potential of your ad spend. That's why you need to watch the next video, where I break down a real brand's Meta Ads account and expose all of the mistakes that keep businesses stuck.